Okay, so I'm going to do this video backwards. You're probably not going to see my face because I haven't yet figured out how to flip the camera around while I'm doing a video. So again, I keep hearing people who want a tour, and I've recorded a walk around before and just never posted it, and every time I do that I end up with an even better trailer like just a few days later. But I don't think it could get any better than it is now. The only thing left would be maybe some insulation, 50-inch TV, maybe a PlayStation. I don't know. There's not a whole lot left you can do to the trailer. Maybe mount the generator outside somewhere. But anyway, so I'll start with the bike. Walk around on the bike. This bike is the bike I bought in Denver. I bought it at a pawn shop. I got it really cheap. I rode it, I don't know, maybe a month or two before I rode from Denver to Amarillo. And then I got on a bus and went back to LaGrange. It got stolen and it got recovered through Facebook. And Thomas Billick saw it at HEB, and I went up and I got it, and the cops wanted to keep it, and I was pretty much to the point where I was like, oh no, I don't think so. It's my bike and there's nothing you can do about it. You'll have to chase me with it. So anyway, we bought some things to make the bike better because it was hard enough. It was slow going downhill. So I wanted to make it easier, knowing that it was going to be tougher to go uphill. So if you'll notice right there, that is an electric motor right there. It is a direct drive 48 volt 1500 watt motor. To make it street legal, there's a plug that I plug in, and it cuts the power in half, so that it's legal to ride on the road. But if I was off-road, I would definitely unplug it and do the whole 1500 watts. Those are not too bad. I think it was like if you wanted to put one on your bike, they're about 150 to 200 bucks. You get the whole kit. There's a controller in that bag right there, which is basically the brain, and you can see the wires that come down. It comes with everything you need to do an electric bicycle, with some pretty cool features. Down here there's a part, if you have the tool to remove that crank arm right there, there's a piece you can put on there where it senses when you're pedaling, and it'll pedal with you instead of having to use the throttle, which would be nice because it gives you a little bit of control over the speed, and you don't have to keep your hands on the handlebars. You can, my right hand is stuck to the handlebars as long as I'm going, as long as I want help anyway. So here's the display. 40 bucks more. I could have gotten a better display that gave me more information, but really, what more do I need than the pedal assist level? And this is my battery level. I got 4 bars. If I'd have bought the LCD screen, it would give me like a 1 to 100 readout on the battery percentage. Got my headlight. I am having trouble finding the charger for that headlight. I lost it somewhere along the way. I think I may have left it at Kim's house. But love the bike. Like I said, I'm a little sentimental on that bike. It's not a great bike. It's just I've been with this bike for a while. This bike's got me where I needed to go. So the trailer connects to the bike right here. It attaches to my old Burley frame. The little trailers that you put 2 kids in and you zip them up. I did that. I used that trailer last time, and I used a tent. Didn't like tent camping. 2 things: you can't just stop and take a break. You got to stop, take a break, and do a whole bunch of housekeeping and tent building and all that. And I don't like building. I don't like putting up a tent. I don't like tearing down tents. So I decided that I would build one of these. I looked on the internet. I could not find a whole lot of plans for bicycle towable trailers. What I could find was made out of corrugated plastic. Wasn't very tough. And it wasn't going to be UV resistant, and but it is, your strength to weight ratio is a little bit higher, but and it does have a good insulation value to it. Automatically, it doesn't conduct cool or heat. Really, you only conduct heat, but it doesn't conduct heat or the lack of heat as well as the wood, because it has an air gap in between. So it's kind of like having built-in insulation. The finish on here, this is just straight plywood, no stain. Just epoxy. And it's a little dusty today because we were it's windy here, and we were doing a lot of pressure washing, so there's paint chips all over it. But getting this joint right here was not real easy for a beginner. I'm a beginner. but I just kept muscling through it, kept gluing it down, and kept working on it, and it worked out fine. It is a airtight, watertight joint. The frame, if you look right here, the frame is made out of 1x. Now this is just an end cap, but it gives you a good idea how thick the base is. The base is that plus another ½ inch, because there's a layer of 1/4 inch plywood under here. There's a layer of 1/4 inch plywood, and then a 1x on its side, so it goes up to right here, and then there's another layer of 1/4 inch plywood on top of that. It's all glued. There's no screws. The glue makes it really rigid, makes it all one piece. Up until you put the last sheet of plywood, it'll feel really floppy, but when you glue that second layer of plywood to it, it becomes one solid slab, and it becomes very rigid. So anyway, I made the dropouts for the wheels based on the spacing for a front wheel of a bicycle. It's 4 inches. The Dogzilla just attacked my town. So anyway, I made those out of the covers for electrical boxes. Duncan cut a slot and wire welded a washer in there, and we cut a slot in the washer. So those are the dropouts for the wheels. I started with bigger wheels. You all heard me say I started with bigger wheels, and they got smaller and smaller and smaller. I kept buying or gathering smaller wheels because the smaller wheels are stronger. The bigger wheels will go over bigger bumps. Smaller wheels are a lot tougher. So if you have big wheels and you were only hitting things perpendicular, you'd be fine. It's when you turn over a curb or over a lip, over a little edge, just a 2-inch edge on my first set of wheels did them in. So anyway, so those, like I said, those dropouts made on a 4-inch gap. That's what most front wheels for bicycles, that spacing there is 4 inches. So anyway, the epoxy, I used a 2-part polyester epoxy. You pour the epoxy in the cup 6 ounces at a time. You put the hardener in there, you mix it all together, you have like 8 minutes to apply it. And so we used a plastic spatula, plastic spreader, like a Bondo spreader, to spread it out. On some of the weaker joints, some of the weird joints, like this joint here, you can see there's fiberglass tape under the epoxy. That was to make it stronger. It wasn't a full 90, and it's a lid, and it was a moving part, so I thought it needed to be stronger, so we used fiberglass tape to make it stronger before the epoxy, and I just kept coating the epoxy over until the tape pretty much disappeared. Hinges, I used a piano hinge for the lid. Works pretty good. There is an old bicycle tube underneath here. I cut the bicycle tube into a long strip, glued it to the gap, screwed the hinge to the deck and to the body of the trailer to make a seal, so the water doesn't run down to the hinge and come in. It's not perfect. I probably would have been better off buying some butyl rubber, a big flat piece, because the bicycle tube was round. My seal always wants to go back to round. It's kind of messy today. I cleaned up because I'm getting ready to leave tomorrow morning. But all the storage is back here. Food on the left, water and gas treatment for the generator on the right, and soap and stuff that whatever I wouldn't want to get in my food is on the right. Food and electronics on the left. I try to keep all of my weight back here. I try to keep the majority of my weight back here. I still carry extra wheels just in case. There's some bungees in here that run across the roof to hang my clothes. After I wear my clothes, they get dirty, they get wet, they get sweaty, they get salty, whatever. I hang them up there for a few days, let them get really good and dry, and then I'll bag them. If I put them in the bag, moist, wet, however you want to put it, sweaty, then it's not going to be pretty when it comes time to pull them out. And I brought a lot of clothes so that I could go a long time before I hit the laundromat. I've had people offer to wash a load of clothes for me, and I really only have a load so far. It's been 3 weeks. I know, nasty, but I wear things more than one day. And, when you don't see anybody all day long, it doesn't matter so much. My shower. The shower is a pump sprayer. Let's see if I can get it out and show you. Things are kind of tangled right now. Anyway, Well, here, let's just kind of unmess stuff real quick if you'll wait for me. My countertop is convertible. I got some stuff in the way, but I can flip it up and get in to some of my stuff a little better. See what's down there. I'm trying to get to just the very end of my shower so you can see how okay. All right. So my shower is one of those pump garden sprayers. It's connected to one of these kitchen. That might look familiar. That's a kitchen hose from a sink, connected through a 1/4 inch to 1/4 inch adapter. I just pump that up and I fill it with water, and this little 3-gallon one works out great. I don't know that it's 3 gallons, but I don't know exactly what size it is, but it's perfect size for my little hot pot there. If I fill this up all the way, close it, pump it, fill my hot pot up, plug it in, boil that one of those full, and dump it back in there, I have a perfect hot shower, exactly the way I like it. So anyway, when I'm done, I hold the hose up, pull the red button, release the pressure, let the water drain back out of the hose, and then just toss the hose back in here. As you can see, I don't shower often enough that even stays anywhere near the top. Let's see, what else would you want to see? I had originally had a bar that went all the way across here. Sophie broke it. I'm gonna blame everything on Sophie today, okay? I hope you all like that. Sophie broke it, so I took the opportunity to cut it off right there, and to put this little stopper peg here, and now I have more room to pump my shower, so it's not a big chore to pump the shower, to pump the water. Also, I water Sophie out of that sometimes. Most of the time she has her own thermos. Hot dog, cold water works for us. So I have a little chair if I want to sit outside. In the trailer, there's, you get tired of sitting in the trailer, so sometimes you want to sit outside in the sun or sit outside in the breeze. You got a little chair. It clips up here to the front of the trailer. I haven't checked to make sure it's going to fit with the gas can. This was made for me today, this ledge, so I welded in, and man, the distance here you can see is more than a foot now on the kickstand. Even off the kickstand, it's not much lower than that. But Saturday when I pulled in here to Harvest Christian Fellowship, I was 1.5 inches off the ground, so every big bump caused me to scrape. And then I have been rolling with a broken kickstand for a little over a week, so I had to find the right size curb to sit level. And when I took brakes on the road, it would be dipped down like head lower than my feet, which kind of made my face swell up, my sinuses swell up. So I'm really happy to have this new kickstand here, brand new kickstand, much tougher, and it's mounted to the trailer different, so it's not pushing on the floor, underneath the floor. It's all wood, and it is very stiff, but at the same time, it's not impenetrable. If you push something really hard, Sophie sees another dog. If you push something small really hard, it'll go through there. So I was worried about it poking through the floor and stabbing me in the face one day, because I'm pretty bad about flopping down. We'll see, that covers pretty much the outside of the trailer. Okay, so Bowie, Texas, I think I did y'all a video. This guy Brian made several improvements for me. I'll start within here. I might have to plug in a light for you guys. I'll hit the tap light. Well, the tap light fell off today with a bunch of activity. I got this light, and this light's better because I can aim it anyway. Okay, so these were originally corrugated plastic, and they're pretty big. They go all the way back to the storage area there. They're corrugated plastic with a wood frame. Brian, my buddy Brian, he's super awesome with metal. He's just super awesome with everything. He's a super guy. Built me these. They're the same sheet metal you use to build a metal building out of. He went and had it all cut and bent for me in all the right dimensions. He measured me one day and showed up just a few hours later with it. Both sides there. I know it looks messy, and I love it when it's not up there, but you know, I hang my towels and I hang stuff that I want to get to really quick all the time, like my gloves and my hot socks up here, and then I hang my backpacks on these hooks here. There's a hook, like clothes hanger hook, you know, like you would put in your kitchen. I keep lots of extra phones. Any phone will dial 911 as long as it's charged. That way, if anything ever happens, I use a Camelback. I have 2 backpacks that I carry that I wear. Things here are a little bit messier than they normally are, but my feet go down there. I fit all the way down there, no problem. My clean clothes go here. Sophie rides on top of that a lot. I have lots of room in here. I wanted a nice high ceiling so I could sit up, and I designed the door to a height where I can sit up in the doorway and not worry about hitting my head. So I added a heater last week, and let's see, there's a secret compartment underneath all this that I keep all my paperwork in, and then I have this to lock the door when I'm inside it, and I have this to lock the door whenever I'm outside. Now, Duncan Grigsby, being a lot smarter than I, maybe because he deals with the public a lot, we were originally going to put one of those hasp and padlock loops on there. It was like anybody could walk by with a ballpoint pen or a stick and lock you in and take off with your stuff. So we switched it to this. And so this way, whenever I do get out, I can lock it like that and nobody can lock me in. How you doing? So the other things that Brian added, he added this brow over the door so the water doesn't come in. And then he added these flashings on my back hatch so that, same thing, so water won't get in. I like it because it keeps the light out too during the day. So I don't even know when the sun comes up sometimes because it's really dark in there. When it really gets bright, the wood glows red in there, which I kind of like. So there's the walk around the trailer. You guys asked for it, and there it is. I got my slow moving vehicle sign, and then my reflector on a stick, and this is an active light. It's a light that flashes several different ways to get people's attention. I'm super happy, man, super happy. The trailer's in better shape than when I left, so it's good, just continues to get better and better. Like I said, there's really not a whole lot I could add. TV, jacuzzi tub, I don't know. A pop-out shower would be awesome. Anyway, there you go. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll answer your questions. Have a good night.